NASCAR racer, like, was able to go grab the piece, fix it.
Real quick.
Like
a real NASCAR guy? Or like,
yeah, you know how they fix it, like, super quick?
They changed, like, 4 tires in, like, 12 seconds.
That made me feel... NASCAR racer, like, was able to...
Well, that is our back.
No, it's okay. Anyway, so it's fixed.
Do you know... So, like, when I was out there helping a guy change a tire from work, and I'm like, well, we're no NASCAR, you know, because we were trying to get the lug nuts off. Do you know that in NASCAR, they only have one big lug nut in the middle? So they whoop, just one pops out.
Oh.
So that's kind of cool.
Oh. That was someone different. That wasn't the beast.
We're about to say, you know that in NASCAR, they only have one big lug nut in the middle. So they whoop, just one pops out.
Oh.
So that's kind of cool. You just turn that up all of a sudden?
Oh. That was someone different. That wasn't the beast.
We're about to say.
Okay. Can y'all still hear us?
That was weird, dude.
It like played in the background. Oh, I think it was because I had the internet YouTube open too. Can you still hear us? I hope they can still hear us.
Mm-hmm.
Say yes.
Say yes.
Yes to the dress. My glitter is kind of everywhere. Okay, they can hear us.
Butter Love Cassio said yes, Moxie.
So this Dana girl thinks the FBI is after her.
Uh-oh.
And then I guess she was peeing on her live stream.
Peeing?
Yeah.
What happened?
But at first, when it said so-and-so is peeing, I was like, oh, God, we may have to switch midstream over to that.
There's been, someone could make a montage of people throughout the last 5 or 6 years that have been like, go to the bathroom while they're on their live stream. It's been
hey, Butters, love.
Equally, boys, guys and gals both do it. Katie's gone to the bathroom a number of times.
Yeah, she has. She was peeing loudly. Oh my gosh!
So you could hear the splash.
It was a healthy stream, huh? Hey, Lisa, how are you guys?
She was peeing loudly. What a great...
I'm like, good, strong stream.
Moxie said loudly.
She did. Oh, yeah, she did do
Lisa.
it. She did it when she was wasted one time, didn't she? The Beast, I think, peed live one time.
That's a lot of people have. I mean...
I don't think I have.
Well, no, I'm not talking about...
No, but I mean, like, I haven't even, like...
Well, but we're talking about people that live stream all the time, and they're walking around, and they're like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick, and they go, and people do it.
I was watching it. Someone had reposted, like, a deleted stream of Katie's, and I was watching it, and I've noticed that now when she gets to a certain level of intoxication, she really ramps up the bullshit. Where she's always been a liar, but even for her, she really stretched. She said that her dad and her mother, which is her stepmother, used to have a thriving business, and they used to make lots of money, and she was used to getting whatever she wanted. And then one day, the IRS swooped in, seized everything, seized the bank accounts, and now they don't get refunds or stimulus because they owe millions to the IRS.
Well...
Are you on something?
The only reason that would happen is A, you didn't pay taxes on...
But millions of dollars?
Yeah, an entrepreneurial business that... It's kind of stupid because if it really takes off and you're making money, it's going to blip somewhere. That's or they'd seize it because it was illegal activity. Well,
I don't know. But then she was saying that her dad used to be a bodybuilder. Well, not a bodybuilder, but he was on 2 different substances, one of them being... Like
Anabol or something
like that. And then he used to move furniture all day by himself. I don't know.
Because he was juiced or something like that?
I guess, but it didn't make it. She's always said she grew up with nothing. That's what she's always said.
I remember her talking. I breezed through there when she was talking about how now the only thing he gets is like $1,200 a month in disability, Social Security or something like that.
Oh, from the VA. But
can't
the IRS garnish the VA pay too?
That is the only people that can take it.
That's what I thought.
Like if you are making $1,000 a month in disability and you get sued by privately for $100,000, they can't take that money.
Yeah, I know there's a couple of things. Child support can't garnish your disability, but they can your retirement.
Right.
Any retirement, not just military, not just whatever.
That was one of the points of contention that I let go. They were garnishing both. North Carolina didn't understand how to do it, or Georgia, someone didn't. And after a while, I would just quit fighting it.
Yeah,
and we know how that ended up, but...
there's no point. At the end of the day, it goes to your kids.
Yeah, it's going to the kids, so... Right.
Anyway, that's what I was listening to before whatever, and I was listening to DC Media talking about something that went down last night, and I guess Negs, I'm gonna review it. I put a picture of his butt.
She did?
No, Negs did.
Right.
He put a picture of his own butt. I think on Twitter, maybe. Was it Twitter or what was it? Maybe nobody knows.
Who follows Negs on Twitter? Was his ass on there?
And so she was laughing, saying it's not revenge porn, it was his own ass. And I was like, the last time he started putting pictures up like that, he was in a very bad place.
Yeah.
So again, I'm not.
I did hear DC Media say that someone was saying he's a revenge pornographer.
Yeah, because they were like, he posted someone else's butt.
Yes, no, that was like, his. He sent himself nudes.
Yeah, I was like, oh, and she rides hard for him for better or for worse.
Here's the thing about that too. It's whatever.
It is, yeah.
It's whatever, but I just don't see, and I could be wrong. I know Neg's only about this much, and it's been a few years since I hung out with him, and he was always pretty clear that he wasn't super serious about anything, even friendships. He's like, friendships, but I'm mostly a loner. But he just doesn't seem to gush and reciprocate as much as DC does.
No,
That's the thing that I'm kind of like, well,
I don't know if he's just shyer than she is, or maybe. But if every time someone attacked Sean, I went live and just was like, "It's okay, baby boy." I got like what she says.
First of all, I wouldn't let her sit there and do that.
He does. Me. She'll go, "Hey, baby boy, I love you. Hey, baby." And I mean, it is what it is.
It is, yeah. That's the bottom line. It's who are we to decide that? But I mean, it is content.
Yeah,
it is content.
Anyways, it is. It's just that's interesting to me. I've been watching it, and then I've been watching a couple of the people that like review her, just to kind of get a better understanding of what her content was before she got with him, and what her typical stream looks like, and that kind of thing. And
didn't she
can't really get a handle on it.
Didn't she build her? Maybe one of y'all can weigh in. Didn't she build most of her fan base on Foodie Beauty?
Yeah, and Amberlynn Reed, I think.
So similar to what Yaba did.
Yeah,
a little bit. Okay.
And what Katie was talking about last night, and again, she was the only one live, and I'm laying in bed. It's either watching Jiggers or whatever. And I'm also floored at how many hours in a row she can drink, just one after the other, and still be able to
that could drink
and still be able to talk. Like that to me is unbelievable. But so she was saying that in the new year, all of these review channels, like the ones that review Foodie Beauty and that kind of thing, YouTube's getting rid of them. They're not going to be monetized anymore. They're not going to lose their channels, but they're not going to be monetized anymore. They're not going to make
coin for it. Right?
They're going to enforce that if you do more than 2 streams about someone, that you'll lose your monetization. But then she said that she goes, I think there's money to be made if I review the people who review. And she was saying, like, if I reviewed Yaba, and she was talking about how someone was telling her they wanted to employ her to do this. Did anybody see that? Like, YouTube was like, you'd be awesome at it. You review the review. And then you know how when you've had a few or a bunch, you repeat the same shit over and over again? She kept repeating it. And I was like, who does she think is going to know? Right.
Trying to will it to be true.
She still is like, I had a channel with, I can, but you don't have that channel anymore.
Yeah.
You have none of those channels anymore.
Oh.
And I think that the denial that goes into someone in active addiction, alcoholism, is unbelievable. They still think they're on top of the world.
Yeah, when Katie first started to stream again, the first time.
Hey, Karen.
It's like she came back for a little bit. Hey, Karen.
Make sure I
came back a little bit, on with that creep stream news dude. And then after a while, she just said, I'm going to do my own thing again. And I remember the first stream she did, and, and it's funny that we can, be critical, but we're all kind of watching it. Mm-hmm. So, and she was talking about how smart she was and how how she stays one step ahead of everybody, and that's why she's got a, you know, she's a great YouTuber. And I'm watching her cringing like, you lost everything.
You've lost it all.
You've got a DUI. You really have to stay at home and stream by yourself because you can't leave the house because they'll get you.
She kept talking about last night, we'll go to the bar. Hold on, we're going to go to the bar in a few minutes. And I thought, geez, in heaven, do not let her get behind the wheel of the car.
I think she's one of the few people, I think in her town, I think people will watch her live stream and be like, well, I guess she's shitty drunk again. It's like, yeah, but she's at home. If she jumps on her live stream and goes somewhere this way, let us know.
Yeah, it's...
You know,
it's, and I'm gonna tell you what, for someone that was a Grey Goose and cranberry juice drinker at the house, the amount of vodka she puts in that drink, and as she'll have like one of those little single size cranberry shine, it'll last her 4 drinks.
And the thing is
she'll
like,
be pouring in like 4.
I was like watching football or something, and we're laying in the bed, and Mandy's, she's like, Sean, watch, and I'm like, what? Watch how much she uses.
I mean,
and she's pouring it, and I'm not a huge drinker, and I'm like, a lot. Is that a lot? She goes, yes, it's a lot.
It's a lot. It was probably 6 ounces of straight vodka.
And it's a lot. And she drinks several of those in a night, right? It's like,
she has, her liver, I think she's getting intoxicated faster now because the liver is kind of kaput. No, she's got a, Big Mama, she's got a, she has a new channel for now. And someone can put the name in there. It doesn't matter to me. But yeah, I don't see how you can drink that much every day and still be,
because
she's got bleeding ulcers. There's that.
And what you're saying is that, so Saturday night, I think it was.
Yes.
You said, you know, you checked in with her again at like 1 in the morning and she's still on. And then, okay, so at some point she falls off, and then at like 10:30 she's back on and she's drinking.
The other night I was pretty sure she was sitting in her chair nodding off, but you know I couldn't see clearly, and someone posted it and kind of blew it up, and she was sitting there just nodding off, switching her radio or the station that she was playing.
What's the song that she always plays that you didn't ever hear? That she plays it every stream that we listen to, like on the weekends. It's the same song, and I mentioned it to Mandy. She never heard the song. You know that one guy's fooled around and fell in love. She plays that song like every night, so she really digs it. And you asked me who sang it, and I didn't remember. But you guys remember that '70s song, "Fooled Around and Fell in Love"? Us older people, let's date ourselves right now.
I mean, now that when you say it, I kind of, the lyrics are, you know, somewhat, it's sad. Her body's giving out on her. And like Moxie just said, her mother went that way. An alcoholic death is a horrible thing to watch. It's horrible. And
if you, in alcoholism,
Karen knows it. Lisa knows it.
Yes.
Moxie knows it.
She plays it like and it's just, maybe it's coincidence, but you know, we've been seeing Katie off and on for years, and I can't count the number of times that
you've heard her play it.
Inevitably, no, the song's on like her little Alexa.
Hey, Just Beauty, the Everly Brothers.
Yes, but it wasn't there a more recent remake? Anyway, I mean it's
Elvin Bishop.
Yeah, I think that's it.
So there's a remake and an original.
Around and fell in love.
I wonder why. It must remind her of something.
Yeah, because it's all or either that or she has a playlist and it keeps coming up.
As she starts to drink more, she starts missing the straw. She always has a solo cup and a straw.
Yeah,
and
I've seen her poke her eye with it.
Yeah,
before.
she goes and I'm like, oh my god.
When she first came back on, remember the channel where she just got in the hot tub and everybody was like, she's gonna drown in the hot tub.
She was nodding off in the hot tub.
All we could see was the back of her head and this and that, and all of a sudden her phone would ring. And it'd be Doug.
But I tell you what, we tuned in an hour later, and I'll be damned she wasn't in a bathrobe in her kitchen pouring another one. I'm like, the hoe got out of the hot tub. You're not supposed to get in a hot tub while you're drinking because it like it's very dangerous.
And the thing about it is I mean, you're
I've got one of those soft-sided hot tubs. Apparently they really work.
I mean, an alcoholic. I mean, I'm not, so I don't know.
Very cool.
I mean, at some point, you got to realize, she's got to realize
I love Lucy.
that it's killing her. She has to. And, you know, when you look at something, is it the addiction is more powerful, or the, you know, the YouTube is more powerful? I mean, what is it?
I think she doesn't like to drink alone, and the only way for her at this point to not drink alone is to have the people. That channel isn't even monetized.
It makes sense.
She drops her PayPal and stuff, but she said yesterday, she talked about a few bars she's been kicked out of and can't go back.
You got her ass
One of them, that girl Leslie that she dated when she supposedly was dating that girl. Apparently Leslie's sister whooped her ass.
Beat her
bad.
Pretty good. Yeah. Was she off long enough where didn't she show up on a live stream kind of beat up too?
Yeah, that was when Leslie's sister beat her up. She names
That's another reason why
she
you don't
names
go to
all
bars.
these bars that she can't go to because her reputation is kaput, either because she sleeps with everybody or because she causes trouble. And I'm like,
how is she sleeping with people? She's always live.
She says she talks about she lives in Brownsburg or whatever. I don't have any idea. She talks pretty public about it. I don't know where Brownsburg, Indiana is, but I imagine they don't have that many bars.
It's outside of Indy. I remember a couple of times she said, and I'm going to watch the Colts game. She's always talking about watching the Colts game. That's where Matt Ryan, Atlanta's old quarterback, now is the Colts quarterback. They're on Monday Night Football right now playing Pittsburgh.
And he's with you good people.
Yes.
No, but,
I said I will catch the second half. I'm going to go live with the people.
Yep, Leslie busted her headlight out too. She gets mouthy with these things, and as much as she tries to act like she's tough and this and that, she's apparently not, because she gets her ass kicked, or she'll go hit on someone's man. That happened one time.
You can't be, you know, too drunk.
No.
I mean, and I'm not trying to make like a double standard because from guys and girls. I've seen guys blinded drunk and still, but you can't. You know, they might not pass out, or maybe they can take a punch, but you certainly can't fight when you're that drunk.
Yeah. You're like, she really does need to stop. She's got 5 bleeding ulcers. She even showed the picture of them.
It's crazy, dude.
I didn't see it when she showed it. Karen asked, can someone... Oh, yeah. It's MFW versus VS World. So, MFW VS versus the world. She's... I don't know. I eventually, soon, her body's gonna start shutting down. Oh, look, we don't need any free girls in our chat.
I mean, I when she was drinking and
back
getting in the hot tub,
up.
Back that ass up, let it go.
This one right here.
Oh yeah. Oh, who said that?
It was one of those X-rated channels dropping their link. I was like, back that ass up.
I thought that was Let It Go that says that.
No, it is her thing.
But when she first came back, it was like, oh Lord, she was talking about how smart she was, and she got in the hot tub. And I think I said, and I think, guys, we're definitely watching somebody's demise, you know, and I'm talking about literally their life. I don't know if we've had anybody else that we've watched like this. I mean, I know there's other people that have.
Not in real time, no.
But not in our community, and it's sad. And you were listening to it, and I was doing something, but I remember I asked you. She gets decent numbers, right?
She gets about 150 people at a time.
I'm like, are these people are these people in her chat? You know, they're legitimately not egging her on, but they're her people, right? They're like they're with her. They're talking to her. They're encouraging her on her live streams.
From what I've seen, most of the time, so they when she gets to a certain point, they start telling her to cut the stream and go to bed and this and that.
I think she lives on that,
I think it's quite a few people that probably grew up with an alcoholic, and they get some sort of reward from taking care of someone who's that intoxicated. That's, you know what I mean? I'm like, that's all I can figure, because she doesn't...
Hey, Danny.
If she is getting PayPals now, I used to remember when she would get a PayPal and she'd be like, thank you, Anonymous, and she'd read the message or whatever. Either she's too drunk to do that anymore, or she's really not getting those PayPals anymore. So
Danny said the nip slip was pretty epic.
Yeah, I saw y'all talking about that when Dylan pulled out the little guy.
Well, that's different from the nip slip. Or is it the same?
The nip slip, I heard about it. I saw, and I was watching when it happened.
Wow. Well, it's
so
probably
I didn't
good.
see it.
I mean, that you didn't see that. It's not.
I guess my eyes aren't as good. When she supposedly went down on him on the couch, I mean, you could kind of see the movement, but you didn't see anything.
Right.
And he was on his phone.
But the wee-wee came out, right? We saw that.
That was in the kitchen. They were whatever, and he pulled it out. But he almost he knew the camera was on.
Yeah, and
he pulled it out and put it back away.
I was in like aisle 6 at work that night, and Mandy's like, Sean, whatever you're doing, I don't care. Which
See?
I'd be like, I'll be on break in a little. No, you have got.
I'd be like, it's on Keemstar.
It is worth it. Yeah,
Nip Slit. Look, Nip Slit. What? We have a user here named Nip Slit with Katie's picture.
Was that you, Nip Slip?
No brush, just a nipple. Oh, okay. Hey, Debbie.
Debbie got the COVID, so I'm going to listen.
Karen, how are you feeling? And Let It Go, how are you feeling?
And Debbie, how are you feeling? Everybody's getting this go around.
We got 4 cards today, 4 Christmas cards.
Yes. But
so we're sending yours back out. Those that sent it.
I love Lucy says it's so. Yeah, Stephen. And we were talking about that.
How did he actually die though?
Didn't he die
on the operating table or something?
He was. They were doing some kind of wasn't it hernia surgery or something like that?
But surely they wouldn't have put him under. He was a chronic smoker and on all kinds of substances.
And normally they won't do for instance, I have somebody that used to be close to me that needed to have surgery done, and they couldn't stop smoking. Mm-hmm. And the doctors and the people were like, you have to stop smoking for 48 hours or whatever. And it's because of that, and your heart, you're right. I'm surprised they did the surgery if you had a bad heart. He must have had to sign all kinds of waivers.
Wow. Yeah. Karen also, of all of the things, she slipped on a step on her deck today and whacked her hip and her butt. Wow. Karen, remember when I had that happen when I was watching the grandkid over with my old client, and they had solid wood stairs, and I slipped. Did you have a big knot where you did it? Did the step hit that hard? I was like, of all things, then she and her husband tested positive again. The thing that you do is you always right after you fall like that, you just kind of do a once over and see, and then you're like, okay, well, I look like a fool, and I've definitely hit myself.
There's a viral video out. It's like a short. I've seen it a couple places like Instagram.
Oh, wow.
Where the guy, it sees the ladder and all of a sudden you see someone falling head first down the ladder. Mm-hmm. And he lands. And then for 2 seconds, he just lays there. It's like he's knocked out for 2 or 3 seconds. And then he immediately starts to get up. And the lady's like, oh my God, did you fall? And he goes, I'm good. And then it cuts the stream. But I mean, when you hit like that, there's a split second where you're like,
wow. So it was a hot shot of fentanyl. She said surgery at first, but then walked that back. So the fentanyl that's everywhere now, I guess that's what it was. With Stephen. Stephen.
No, but he wasn't in surgery?
I don't think so.
Wow.
So that was, I always wondered kind of what his substance was, but I don't like to talk about the deceased.
I know. And yeah.
That's my amends to the community.
But I mean, still, we're sort of talking about it
the fentanyl is everywhere,
and he was a
him aside, human. Fentanyl is permeating everywhere.
When I was still in Sneed's Ferry, when Becca was in high school, a batch of heroin came through. And this was a few years ago, and it killed 3 of the kids that week. In the same, imagine that. You have a tragedy once a year or. In a high, maybe it was 3 kids in 1 week, and it was because it had fentanyl in it.
It's that. Well, at first they said it was car fentanyl, and I guess it was for a while, but now it's just mainly illegally made fentanyl. They're replicating the chemical makeup, but it's way stronger.
That's how it happens. That's what they said. Back in the day. The weed wasn't as strong as it is now, but the acid was way stronger, and now they have really good weed, and the acid isn't, or whatever. I remember when we would trip, we would they would put strychnine. That's how they would preserve the blotter, because it was on pieces of paper, and if you could get liquid, you could get the LSD without it being on paper. If in liquid form, it didn't have any of the rat poison and none of the strychnine in it, it would give you lockjaw.
Oh my gosh.
And then it was very smooth. We would put it on sugar cubes.
I heard of that.
And it was very, very, very smooth.
I've always heard of, but don't do drugs, kids. No. I've always heard that also they put it on lickable stamps and stuff.
Well, the stuff that's on the stamps is the stuff that's got the preservative
said
on
good
it.
times.
Yeah, good time. I mean, this is the 80s, kids. Okay,
of
this
all
is back
the
in the
things
80s.
that I was shocked at when I met him, talking about, I was like, "You did acid?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I mean,
more than I should have. If you look at the clinical,
oh my gosh.
They said you should be like
Nancy Reagan says that's very. And I remember when I was like,
you're brain dead after like 6 hits.
Well, I was like, I heard in Dare that it'll stay in your spine, and sometimes you'll all of a sudden have a trip, and it'll be years later. And you said something like, "Huh?"
Yeah. Snap my back real quick. Let me see.
Back in the day, 3.5 grams of weed was $40. Today, 3.5 grams of weed is $40. That strikes me so weird. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it depends. I mean. A gram, like back when I was in high school.
I've heard about mushrooms being.
It was like $7 a gram, so it was like $25 for 7 grams is a quarter, so you're talking about an eighth, 3.5 grams. That
was the other thing that Katie said her dad was a user of Quaaludes.
Mm-hmm.
I've never. They've been gone for a long time. Apparently, you can still do it in England.
Heard they were wild.
I have heard so many crazy ass stories in AA that had Quaaludes in the story from way back, like in the day, like people waking up in California and they started in New York City, like stuff like that.
Well, I told you about my friends who went to the Bahamas, right?
And then I don't have y'all heard this story?
I heard this story. And I'm still friends with one of my friends. The one that I maintain closeness to, he passed away in 2008. He had surgery. He had like some kind of surgery and he went septic. They did something wrong. But his wife, who's remarried, and because that was 15 years ago, so he lives in Dahlonega. Yeah, but anyway, so the story was we had a sheet of LSD. This would have been 1988, I believe, and 88 or 89. And so we had a sheet. And so that's 100 hits. So my friends threw a party and they were selling it at the party. So but at the end of the party, there was like 25 hits left. So 5 of us took 5 hits apiece. That was like a Thursday. And everything was like strawberry shortcake till like Sunday. So I had a girlfriend that policed me up and kind of took me back to the apartment, and we kind of hung out, and she, it was, I had a good time, but, so apparently, as I was coming down off of it, it was like Saturday night and into Sunday, people were asking me if I'd seen the other 4 guys. Nobody had seen them since the party. Like Friday, the sun came up and, they weren't there. And then Friday turned into Friday night, it turned into Saturday. People started to get concerned. And this was back in the 80s where you had the house phone. People didn't have cell phones. So they had the house phone that was at the apartment. And so it was Sunday night, late Sunday night or early Monday, the phone rings. And I pick up the phone, and, it's one of them. And his name was Bill. And he's like, "Hey, dude," that's really how he talked all the time. "What's up, man?" And I'm like, "Where are you?" He goes, "Man." And I said, "What's going on? Everybody's worried about you. No one's seen you since Thursday." And he said, "Man, it started kicking in, and next thing I know, I came to, there's white sand all around me." And I said, "Where are you?" He goes, "We're in the Bahamas." And I guess you didn't need a passport back then, but there was 4 of them, 4 dudes.
And they were all in Bahamas.
Yeah, they paid some guy to drive them to Hartsfield International Airport, which was about an hour and a half drive from where we were. And two of the guys had gold cards, and they bought 4 tickets to the Bahamas. And they went to the Bahamas, and
got a hotel and everything when they got there?
I don't even remember. I think they just hung out and partied for like a day.
And then they needed a job.
And then so it was Sunday, so it's now like 72 hours since. And that's what I said. I said, "What are you going to do?" He goes, "Well, we got to get our way back, and then I got to find a job because we I think with each there was 2 gold cards, and I think they had put each like 12 grand on each one.
And it was their parents' cards.
Yeah,
right?
It was. They were college kids, so it was each of those students' parents' card. So that's I've got
you didn't go.
No, I didn't go. I have a few pretty decent trippy stories from my college days, but that's the one that's like pretty epic to tell because I wasn't really involved in it. You know, it was just my friends. But yeah,
I remember you told me that we hadn't been together very long, and I was dying laughing. Hey, Levi, I was like, can you imagine waking up and when you so you're able to conduct your life as normal, like you go to the airport and you do whatever, and you're just not there?
Well,
like a blackout?
No. It's like the way I describe. It's very visual, like very colors, and it's. That's and if you get a really good batch of it,
right?
Like it's starting to kick in. Well, here's what we used to do.
Moxie.
We would do this. We do this with shrooms a lot. Is we'd all eat the mushrooms and whatever, whoever was eating them, and then we would play like Go Fish. Just a real simple game like Go Fish. And there'd always be like one or two guys that were there that weren't tripping. And they'd just kind of be doing whatever, drinking and hanging out. And, they were kind of watched over us and stuff like that. And so we'd all be sitting around playing cards. And then all of a sudden it becomes slower and slower. And then all of a sudden everyone's just staring at their hands and no one's saying a word. Everyone's just staring at the cards. No one knows whose turn it is or whatever. And then someone would go,
"It's ready.
It's on." And,
Listen, Danny said my friend flew to Vegas with only a blender.
A blender. Yeah, I mean, and then when you come to, you're kind of like, all right.
I got a blender.
I don't know why I have this blender, but it's probably important clue to figure out, where I was.
At that Thanksgiving one year, this was with my ex, but anyways, they were his cousin was telling this story, and his cousin's wife was there, and they're telling this story, and she's like, yeah, he was in Vegas for a bachelor party, and he had a head injury or something, because he lost his phone, and I didn't hear from him for like 4 days, and I was like, and I look at him, and he goes, yeah, and I was like, and I said, yeah, so did you like have to call the police? And she goes, no, and I kept calling, and then the hotel where he was at, he wasn't answering. And so she's like, as much as we can figure out, he must have gotten hit by a car in the alley and then wandered around for a couple of days. He didn't have his phone or anything. I looked at this dude and I was like, for legit, she believed it. And I was like, huh, yeah, those pesky little cars hitting you in alleys.
What's
they
the
ended
movie?
Up divorcing like a couple years later.
What was the movie where they go to Vegas with?
Oh, The Hangover?
Hangover. That's some Hangover shit right there.
And you could tell, like, when I looked at him, I was like, and he's sitting there smiling. He was like an attorney or something. And he's smiling, going, whatever. And I was asking more questions, not to just prove him a liar, but I was very fascinated by this story.
Yeah. It was later on where you realized.
Hey, Megan. Hey there. I was asking where you were.
Hey, how you been, Megan?
I was like, and you don't want to like laugh, but I'm like, dude, this is not this is not believable. She was like, when he finally came to, he was in the same clothes he had worn 2 days before, and then all of a sudden he calls me and says, oh, I must have been in an accident because I don't know.
He rushed in and hugged her and said, babe, I'm so
where was the groom and the rest of the
home.
friends?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, where was...
Yeah.
I would go, can I talk to the rest of the people that were there real quick? And I'd be like, wow. And they'd be like, yeah, it's pretty serious. You're a fucking liar.
You liar. Yep.
It was funny, though. It was
the other story that I tell sometimes is, okay, so Blood Mountain's over here in Dahlonega. And so...
Oh, wow.
Mandi and I kind of moved back to like where my stomping grounds were 30 years ago.
Hold on one second. Moxie said I had a girlfriend who literally believed her boyfriend when he told her he was kidnapped. That's what I'm talking about. Go ahead.
So this is my stomping grounds, and we live in Lumpkin County, part of Dawsonville, but Dahlonega is just about 4 or 5 miles up there where I went to school. And it was very, very rural back then. I mean, the band Widespread Panic, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Widespread Panic. They're from Athens. They had an epic concert that they played in the copper mines. You can just type it in, 1989, Widespread Panic Copper Mines. Well, the Copper Mines is here in Dahlonega, and it's, for people who follow Widespread Panic, it's one of the iconic shows way back before they were a huge band, when they were just like a club band. So we would go camping out in Blood Mountain, and there was campgrounds all back in there, and we would drive back and with our cars, and we would build big old bonfires and get home speakers and drop the ohms down from our car speakers and play music on the home speakers that we brought. It was pretty cool. And I told you the one day when the cops finally came out there, and so we're all out there hanging out, and there's a lot of drinking going on, but I was never a really big drinker, but I was tripping. So the cops show up at our little campsite, and he gives everybody a breathalyzer, and I was the only one that was like didn't have any alcohol. So he said, you got to break up the party, and you have to make sure everybody gets back to campus.
And you were like,
so I made about 4 trips back and forth to campus, tripping, just wigging balls.
You said you were
with
like,
a bunch of drunk people in my car, yeah, and I'm driving along, and and I'm like, and they're all laughing and joking, and like, am I driving cool? And they're like, I guess,
You're like, as soon as this unicorn crosses, I'm gonna give back.
I mean, but yeah, I mean, I had a go of about 5 years where I did a lot of that stuff, and it's been a long time.
I'm going to read. Okay. So the first one is Karen. Her epic story was that she got locked in the downtown Portland U.S. Bank building in the middle of the night with 3 of her friends. And I've heard that can happen. I've heard that once it's like an auto lock or whatever, I would have been like, what am I going to eat? And then Let It Goes is like, this was so funny. Let It Goes was, I have woken up in my 20s after a drunken binge, laid in bed with the ugliest guy, and he was so in love. I was like, okay. And
he was like, back that ass up.
He was in love, and she's like, yeah. My dad tells a funny story.
She was like, about that.
My dad tells the story when he got out of the Navy in California, he had a wild streak, which if you know my dad now, you can't imagine that, because I remember one morning, he said, I remember one morning I woke up and all I saw was tassels. And he was like, oh, I went home with the stripper. But she was like, well, at least she still had her he's like, when you wake up seeing tassels, you're like, oh.
But I mean, your dad to me, I fancied him as pretty wild when he was young. I mean, if you just kind of talk to him about stuff, he's got a humor about him that's like, okay, this dude's had his laps around the track,
He was in Vietnam, then he got out of the Navy in California, and the money they gave him to get home to Wichita Falls, Texas, which is where he's from, he blew it. And so every time his parents would give like Western Union the money so he could come home, he'd blow it again on beer or whatever it was. And finally, and then he married a girl one day that was older than him, and it was a horrible mistake and whatever, and I don't even think they tried to make it work. But when he went to go marry my mom in Texas, and I guess they used to say, they would do a call. If you were married someone else, they made sure the divorce was final, and she had never finalized the divorce. So he jumped a plane, went to California to finalize the divorce, and then came back and married my mom.
See, that's pretty crazy.
I'm like, why did you marry her? And he was like, at the time, I vaguely remember it being a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, Mandy, you guys seen the room? Remember when we did the house tour and the big Grateful Dead tapestry that's on the wall, the big roses tapestry? Yeah.
Tomorrow I'm going to do...
You were surprised about that.
I was. Tomorrow I worked on the Christmas stuff all day long again today. Tomorrow we're going to look at it. I made a point this year. I wanted to put up every single one of the decorations and ornaments that we have. You know how when you start decorating the tree and usually you're just like, I'm over it, and you put the rest of the ornaments in the box and call it a day?
Yeah.
I literally did all the ornaments, all of the little collectibles that I usually just great, whatever, and so I'll show tomorrow. Yeah, tell me, Karen, Levi, we went past a security guard and started riding the elevators and no one saw us. I guess the doors locked after us. We were all stoned up. Karen.
They were just...
Karen was stoned.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? You're like, I have weed. We don't have anything to eat. Well, we've got maybe a Twinkie and a Hostess.
Yeah, don't smoke too much because you'll starve to death.
That's what he said, tassels. He was like, all I saw was tassels, and he went, oh, I went home with the stripper. And I was like, most guys would say that's pretty badass. Like, you know what I mean?
It depends on what the stripper looks like.
That's what he said. And I said, well, was she attractive? No. Hey, creative newborn.
She said fast life in the 50s.
Creative newborns, we're telling crazy stories from the past. So far, I think we've got number one is... I love Let It Go stories. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
Let It Go is he's a wild child.
Also spent Halloween night in a rest area bathroom on the floor. Oh, gross. Oh. Hey, yoga. That is so
Hey, yoga
Let me
pants.
tell you something. When you're good and intoxicated and ready to pass out, the bathroom floor between the toilet and the wall, that's a pretty comfortable place. You can lay down on the cold floor. You can even grab a bath mat if you want to and hold on to it. And then you're like,
Fall in love with a cheeseburger.
yeah,
Hold it
you're
tight.
like, why have I never slept here before? It's like, honey, I'm going to start sleeping right here on this spot every night.
I mean, how
Okay.
many times? I can remember one vaguely. I mean, not vaguely, but there. I'm sure I did it more than once. But there was one where I was down on a knee, and I think I had smoked, I had drank, I had taken some shrooms. There was a combination of
Right,
things.
you don't even care.
And I was probably like 19 or so, and I was on one knee, praying to the good Lord. I'm like, look, man, if you get me through
A
this
foxhole, they call them foxhole prayers in
yeah,
AA.
and it wasn't like a drunk type of prayer. It was like a wigging out, like, man, like there was too much going on and the lights. I was like, if you can just see me through to the morning,
Yeah.
I'll
Never do it
I'll
again.
never do this again. I just please, whatever. Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
But mine.
and then you wait till you get over it a couple days later when you start feeling better and you're like, thank you for that.
Thank you.
I'm just going to,
I
just
owe
one more
you
time.
one. I'll go to church
Tomorrow.
in April. I'm gonna start. But right now, there's still some left.
I told you guys at OBX, our bathroom, the toilet paper holder was broken. You know, the one like that had it right next to the toilet. Hey, Nelson, right? Like, and then I was like, I know why it's broken. When you're bent over the toilet, you think that's it. You're like, oh, they put a handle here. Fantastic. And you go to grab it to pull up on, and then you break it. I asked everybody, like a group of people that were there, because there was like 27 rooms or something. There was a lot of people there. I said, is your toilet paper roll thing broken? And they were all like, yeah. And I was like, rock on.
Okay.
Because you push up on it.
You're going to have to elaborate, because he says, let's suffice to say, my wildest night was at my own home with a man I had recently met. All was well till leaving for work the next morning and saw my son's car. Was it like your son's friend? Or
oh, yeah. You're like, that was like when you kissed the neighbor mom. Did you kiss her?
Yeah.
You did kiss her?
A little bit.
And then your parents were like, you're not the only one.
Yeah.
It's no big
I think I told that story.
I
have boot camp letters my dad wrote to his pop bragging about the $5 woman. He was 18. Unfortunately, he was killed before they knew I was conceived. Aww.
That sucks.
Heavy.
That really, yeah, my mom used to ask my dad, like, questions about Vietnam, and he was like, oh, did that scare you?
He did.
He was like, hey, there's Presley. Oh, my gosh.
What's Presley?
Wait, hold on.
Read that. What did she
Mr.
say?
and Mrs. Curley, my name is Carolyn. I'm Presley's granddaughter. My Meemaw is at the hospital with my grandpa.
Oh, no.
He has a setback. She's so sorry she can't be here with you.
Aw.
Carolyn, oh my God. Please tell her that we're praying for her. Oh my gosh. Her hubby had a...
Carolyn.
Man.
Well, Carolyn, we love your Meemaw.
Yeah.
She's good people, and well, thank you for letting us know.
Yeah, thank you for letting us know. Let her know as soon as she can call, or as soon if she needs anything. Just let us know. That's awful. But he's turned around before. He seems to he rebounds, and I know it's gonna happen this time. Hey Gigi. Hey Pebs.
Hey.
That sucks.
Well, Moxie said my son didn't live there and had stopped by unexpectedly. So basically, he came home for the night, and his mom was with somebody.
Oh my God. I mean,
hey, Gigi.
I would think though with a I know that sucks. I feel bad. I'm like distracted, but he's gonna be okay. I'll call her later and see if she can.
Yeah.
I feel like they're like from the American Pie days. The Stifler's mom, you know.
Yeah. Hey, and real quick, Karen's right. Just Carolyn, let her know that we all love her and we're thinking about her.
Yeah.
Tell her that.
And we'll all be right here when she gets back. Sucks.
Yeah.
I appreciate your kind words. I'm also worried that she cares about it.
And we know she does. But
I thought it was odd that she hadn't popped in, because normally right when she's leaving work, she'll pop in and say hi. And then when she gets home, we can talk to her. So let her know we're praying for her and for your grandfather.
And your grandpa's the most important thing right now.
Yeah. Presley's got wit. She's a ringtail tutor. She comes up with insight that is beyond anything that you would think someone would know. You know what I mean? Like, she's amazing, a very good friend. That's what you might be. She's extremely funny. We have a good group but she's funny when she calls out some of the people for what they are. She's everybody. We all love her.
Well, Presley would want us to carry on.
Yeah, Presley's probably got a few crazy stories from back in the day too.
Are we going to talk about these, do you think? Or do we want to what? We got the first round of.
Well, we're going to start hanging them behind us,
yes.
like just the fronts of them, so people don't want to know. We got one from England.
Yes.
We're going to send that one back for someone, and we got like 4 today. Keep them coming.
Yep. I'll tell you where we got them from.
You'll each get one back.
And then you guys can tell us if you want us to. Some people just don't want, the acknowledgement, but we got one from Idaho. We got one from Sheffield, England, and it doesn't have their name on it. But this one came from Sheffield, England, and Royal Mail.
No, you're fine. Just let her know we're thinking and praying about her. Yes, we did. We're gonna send. We have cute cards to send back or whatever, and
we have one that came. It was stamped in North Houston, Texas.
And they're whoever it is. Well, it's on the back. Is very creative. They put tape, like Christmas tape on the bottom. I love it.
And we have one that's from Virginia, and they addressed it Captain and Mrs. Curley.
And we like that.
So we'll reach out to these people, and we'll see if you want us to thank you on the live stream, we will. If not, that's cool too.
We'll hang them behind us.
Yes, and they're going to be hanging up like.
I'm glad that it's taken me so many days to really get this stuff unpacked. I made tiny stocking today. The other chickens are going to have little stockings.
The rooster gets the stocking.
But he's going to have a big one.
There's one more card.
Our Brahma hen is still hanging on. She doesn't look good, but she's still hanging on in there. And so we're giving her water and bye. See you later, Carolyn. So, I don't know. Hopefully she might rebound or whatever, but she's being taken care of. Oh, yes. The little 3-dimensional thing.
Yes. They're little. This one, and the person that sent it to us, his name is on the back, and it's a little 3-dimensional card.
Isn't that cute?
It's a very, very cool. So when it came out, and you do that.
It was very, very cute.
Yes.
We're excited. Sean was so excited. It was came in our post office box.
Because at first I was like, well, what if nobody?
I was like, if nobody does, nobody does. But I was like,
so I was actually, they needed help in the PO box section this morning. So Mondays are a really busy day, especially Black Friday, and then today being Cyber Monday. So there's a lot of, and plus the political mail from the elections and the runoff. So there's a ton of mail. It's going to start picking up, and by about Thursday this week, from Cyber Monday being today and Black Friday, that the packages are going to be.
And you should see the mudslinging going on with these two candidates. Yeah. It's Warnock and Herschel Walker, the football player.
Yeah.
And I've been listening on the radio commercials. I guess Herschel Walker said something about Warnock. What was it that he said about him? And then he came and said he was lying.
Well, both of them have.
Not the domestic. I guess he had said Warnock.
Well, Warnock
misused.
Well, Warnock has like a his church has funded like a Section 8 housing, like a sort of like a I don't want to use the word projects, but it's kind of what it is.
Yeah.
And apparently he's not
Sawyer,
keeping it up, and there's a lot of it's fallen in disrepair where these people live. So that's being slung his way. And then Herschel Walker's beat up about all kinds of people.
Sawyer, I just got stared down by a Shih Tzu. He was going back there to eat the dog food or the cat food. So I looked at him and I said, Sawyer, and he stepped right in the hallway, looked up at me and met my eyes, and he was like, we'll see who gets done first. I wear, this one is Anastasia Beverly Hills. And I don't remember the color, but it's, I don't know. I can get it. But anyways, so I use that. I like theirs, and then there's a couple of colors with Stila that are colors that I like. But I need to put gloss on it so it's not so matte. This is Sawyer's baby. He loves this because it's like a little chicken baby, and we never let him carry the babies around. He didn't even, oh, how cute, she did little brown hearts. He destroys everything, but he hasn't destroyed this. He carries his baby around. That's his baby.
Yep. There goes Sawyer.
And he doesn't destroy it. So during the day when I want him to come inside, I'll say, where's your baby? We got to go get your baby. And he'll come running in. He's one of those caring male Shih Tzus. We always say Sawyer's an empath. And it's very, very hard to be an empath when you're a Shih Tzu because you are very entitled. Look at him.
But, anyway, I was helping there. I came in, and so what happens is we all kind of fall in around the getting all the mail out when we first get to work. So I got into work, and they're like, they need help over in the post office box section. So I went over there to that section, and that's what you've got people that work in all the sections, and then those of us that come in before we start doing whatever we have to do will help push the mail, push everybody out, so they can get on the road. And then the main thing I do is I dispatch later. I dispatch everyone back. But so I'm going through, and I'm putting stuff in the mailboxes, and I was like at 350, and I was doing that, and I went,
that's mine.
I wonder if we have any. No, we didn't have any for us that day, but it was in there, and it had probably either Friday or Saturday they got put in there, and I just didn't.
We're very excited
because I don't do the post office stuff. I tend it, but the letters part is somebody else. So I looked in our little box, and there was 4 letters in our P.O. box, and I was like, oh.
Did you walk around and use the key, or did you pull it out?
I just pulled it straight out.
You pulled it out through the back?
I have a picture of it. Hold on.
That is definitely a no. No, you can do whatever you want, right? If it's your mail.
But
we are excited. We're kind of like kids in that way. Like, so you will make our day and our week, and you'll get one back if you send one to us. That's
what it looked like.
Isn't that cool?
That's the back end of it. So
we don't want to birth chickens in the winter. The ones that are in the incubator are not going to hatch because we found out that, the only 2 bigger ones are the only ones that possibly could. The Silkies, we have 2 hens. So there's 4 or 5 big ones in there, right? But I don't think they're fertilized because when I took some, not from the incubator, but when I took some from the nesting box right about the same time, they're not. They're the ones that we ate. We looked at them and they weren't. We did they weren't fertilized. So,
but
we're incubating.
We really don't. Just me is like, why do you want to burn chickens in the winter? Yeah, I mean we'll keep them in here until they're old enough. It wasn't well thought out. It wasn't well thought out, and that's why and people have told us, they've said that the mama hens, they're not really broody right now anyway.
They're not even sitting on their eggs.
And someone else had told us in the springtime you'll really learn who the broody mamas are, who the broody chickens are, because then when it warms up they'll sit there. But bring
I'm thinking this Brahma may have some sort of tumor behind its eye.
Yeah.
Because it's not an injury per se. The eye drops into... Anyway, I think that might be what it is. But the ones that are in the incubator... How many big ones are in there?
There's 7.
And they have, another week?
Yeah, today's Monday, so it would be next Monday.
Yeah. So the answer is it's not well thought out.
Yeah.
Much like my other things that we undertake.
We can be very impulsive. Like we went out and bought an incubator.
It was right when they started laying them.
That's the regular size egg, which wouldn't even be an extra large, and this is the silky egg. It's so if you can you see how much bigger this one is? You really can't.
Like this one, well, you can if you hold it like this one. Yeah, you can see how the difference in size.
Now you can.
We've cooked with the silky egg.
Silky egg was outstanding.
Yeah, there's not a lot of white in it. It's mostly yellow, so the eggs come out like bright yellow. At first it was kind of creepy because they're so small, so I was like, oh, I don't know. But it is Nelson. Oh, he always says hi to everybody. That's so sweet. He actually goes through and so I do not think that they're going to hatch. Having said that, now that we know they're not broody in the wintertime, and it is the wintertime, and they're probably not fertilized, we'll probably put the incubator on the
we'll put it on this. But the other thing that worries me a little bit is if only like one hatches, and then there's a chick that doesn't have. Spoiled. It'll be very spoiled because you're supposed to have at least a couple of them because they have their warmth together. That's how they get their warmth. Yeah. So yeah.
The P.O. box is in the description, Gigi. What is the box number?
I'm gonna put it in for us.
Okay. Well, you know the whole address except the P.O. box. I see, and Moxie wants to get in the spirit too. She's been saying that they look just like mine. Yeah. So I didn't know that the reason the eggs are white in the grocery store is because they're bleached.
That's what I've been told.
I wondered how they were white eggs, but it's because they've been bleached. Look, he's ready for his. Look at him. 9:32, and here's Scout going, it is my bedtime. You know, Scout. Is it your bedtime? He stares right at us at 9:30. Is it your bedtime? Is it? He'll look at me sometimes when I'm talking to him. He won't have any idea what I'm saying, but I'll be talking to him, and he'll go, ew. Don't you? I guess I could show the
Karen's
Scout
getting
tree.
3 a day, and they're getting. We don't get 3 a day, but we got like 3 yesterday.
Are you eating them? Bleached eggs, bleached olives. Yeah. No. Y'all don't need to. Sawyer's like, let me go take care of this. In a second, Scout will go put himself to bed. I can send your card.
All right, I just screenshot Moxie's.
Oh.
It's got her Gmail address.
If you Levi, if you DM me your address or email it to ATX Tomahawk at Gmail, I'll still send you one. That goes for anybody. If you want a card, Moxie says that she was ready to spread some Christmas cheer, and we will still send you one.
Yes.
We have plenty. It's just you'll have to send me your address. I can't get it off the envelope, so there's that.
Well, these we can get these off the envelope.
No, but I'm saying like if someone who says she says she can't send one, she's got a broken arm, which sucks.
Yeah, just
we'll still send you one. Just send us your address,
absolutely.
And we will do it. And with that, are you ready for?
Are we ready? Did we?
Well, Scout wants to go to bed.
Look at these.
We got to still try to give the Brahma some water. But we can say a few more minutes. I feel like we just.
Oh my God! Look, hold on. See if I can do this. Can I?
Yeah, you can do it. You want me to do it?
Yeah. Well, I got to show you guys.
Just point it to the.
Look at these two.
No, you got to do it this way.
Oh. You see these two just lounging by the base of the Christmas tree?
He's like, it's about my bedtime. He's like, Sawyer's like, it's about my bedtime. Can you see it?
There they are.
Look at him. Now he's gonna try to get Sawyer to play. Let's see. Like a little delayed, I think. Anyways, that's them. They're brothers. They're the only 2 boys in this outfit. Even the chicken. Well, Tiny's a rooster, but that looks good. That's actually a better way to do it. Put it right there.
Yeah, I mean, we can get to going. Moxie says goodnight.
Yes.
Danny says goodnight.
But we're doing good. We're coming when we say we are, and we're not late. and we're having a fantastic time. And it seems like you guys are too.
Yeah, Justin Me says, ask because eggs are $4 a dozen. Yeah, I mean, we average about one a day. Like some days we get 3, some days we get none. But we have 3 hens so far that are laying for sure. And then there's 3 more that are sort of coming of age where they'll start laying eggs. So by the spring, we'll be probably getting a couple a day. But
and we don't need a whole bunch of new chickens. So
and eggs are, they're so much better when they're fresh. They taste so much better than something that you buy in the store. So
okay, you guys remember Presley and her husband in your
yes,
prayers.
everybody reach out if you have Presley on like Instagram or Twitter. Just let her know you're thinking about her. You can put her in the comments because she'll read the comments and on our stuff. But okie dokie, gang.
Y'all have a good night. We will see you tomorrow.
Thanks, y'all.
And Sawyer says night.
Why are you looking at me? You're supposed to look there.
Anyway,
look right
we'll
there.
see y'all tomorrow.